The police cruisers surrounded my construction site like I was running some kind of criminal operation. 3 cars, lights flashing, sirens wailing. I set down my hammer and watched as the officers approached. Marching with the confidence of someone who just caught a serial killer was Brenda Harrington, president of the Maplewood Estates HOA.
"That's him," she shrieked.
"That's the squatter who's illegally building on protected HOA land." The lead officer, Davidson, examined the documents I handed him: the deed, the survey, the water rights dating back to 1922. His eyebrows climbed higher with each page. "Ma'am," he said, turning to Brenda with a tone that made her step back. "According to these documents, this gentleman owns not just this plot, but the entire riverfront from mile marker 7 to mile marker 12. That includes all water access rights." The whole thing had started 3 months earlier. I was building a cabin on the 20 acres my grandfather left me, pristine lakefront untouched since the 50s. My property bordered Maplewood Estates, but had never been part of their HOA. The first sign of trouble came on day 2. Brenda sped down the dirt path in her golf cart. "What do you think you're doing? This is HOA property. You can't just start construction without board approval." "This isn't HOA property," I calmly corrected her. "This land belongs to me." She actually laughed. "All lakefront access in this area belongs to Maplewood Estates. I'm shutting this down right now." That was the beginning of a 3-month campaign. I'd arrived to find worthless cease and desist notices taped to my equipment. I caught her on my trail cameras, sneaking onto my property at all hours. One morning, she was standing inside the foundation I'd poured, clutching a clipboard. "The noise alone is disturbing our residents' peace and tranquility," she huffed. "The nearest house is half a mile away," I pointed out. The breaking point came when she put up her own signs: private property, Maplewood Estates HOA, along what she decided was the boundary. "Make me take them down," she smirked, announcing she'd called the real authorities. Which brought us back to Officer Davidson reviewing the deed. "This can't be right."
Brenda sputtered.
"The HOA owns all water access. We've been using that beach for 20 years. "Using it and owning it are 2 different things, ma'am," Officer Davidson said. "According to these documents, you've been trespassing on this gentleman's property for 20 years. I pulled out the survey map. My grandfather owned everything from mile marker 7 to mile marker 12. That includes the beach area your community has been using, the hiking trail along the river, and the boat launch."
"But we maintain that beach," she protested.
"We installed the picnic tables on my property," I said calmly, "without permission. That's actually vandalism, technically speaking." The officers left after issuing Brenda a warning about filing false police reports. She stood there, her authority crumbling, watching 2 decades of perceived ownership dissolve into nothing. Word spread through Maplewood Estates faster than wildfire. Residents were furious to learn their coveted lake access wasn't owned by the HOA. The HOA vice president, Jack Sullivan, approached me with a delegation of concerned neighbors. "We understand now," Jack said, shooting a harsh glare at Brenda. "We're hoping we can come to some sort of arrangement. The community has been using that beach for decades."
"And I've been paying taxes on it for decades," I countered.
Funny how no one mentioned that when they were spreading sand on my beach. That night's emergency board meeting was explosive. Neighbors demanded to know how Brenda had been so fundamentally wrong. It turned out she had never actually checked the property records, she had simply assumed ownership. The vote of no confidence was unanimous, minus Brenda's vote. She was removed as president effective immediately. 3 days later, I started building my split rail fence, clearly marking the property line. I also installed the private property, no trespassing signs my lawyer recommended. That's when Brenda made her final, desperate mistake. I caught her on camera at 2 a.m. trying to pull up my fence posts with her Mercedes. The bumper got tangled in the wire, and she ended up dragging 50 feet of fencing before getting stuck in a ditch. This time, I pressed charges: destruction of property, trespassing, and vandalism. The judge was not amused. "Mrs. Harrington, you've shown a pattern of harassment and criminal behavior that's frankly shocking for someone in a position of former community leadership." The fines came to $12,000, plus full restitution for my fence. She also got 200 hours of community service and a restraining order keeping her 500 feet from my property. $12,000, she gasped. "But I was protecting our community." The judge's gavel came down hard. "You were protecting your ego, Mrs. Harrington. Consider yourself lucky I'm not adding jail time."